Penobscot Indian Island Reservation is an Indian reservation for the Penobscot Tribe of Maine, a federally recognized tribe of Penobscot Tribe in Penobscot County, Maine, United States, near Old Town. The population was 610 at the 2010 census. The reservation extends for many miles alongside 15 towns and 2 unorganized territories in a thin string along the Penobscot River, from its base at Indian Island, near Old Town and Milford, northward to the vicinity of East Millinocket, almost entirely in Penobscot County. A small, uninhabited part of the reservation is in South Aroostook County, by which it passes along its way northward. Government. The Penobscot Tribe of Maine is headquartered in Indian Island, Maine. The tribal chief is Kirk Francis. The vice-chief is Bill Thompson. History. The Penobscot people long inhabited the area between present-day Old Town and Bangor, and still occupy tribal land on the nearby Penobscot Indian Island Reservation. The first European to visit the site was probably the Portuguese Estevão Gomes in 1524, who was working for Spain. He was followed by the French explorer Samuel de Champlain in 1605. Champlain was looking from the mythical city of Norumbega, thought to be where Bangor now lies. French missionary priests settled among the Penobscot. This valley was contested between France and Britain into the 1750s. After Britain defeated France in the 7 Years' War, the territory became dominated by England. It was one of the last northern regions to become part of New England. One of the most important Penobscot chiefs was Madacawando. King William's War. There were tensions on the border between New England and Acadia, which New France defined as reaching the Penobscot River in southern Maine. English settlers from Massachusetts had expanded the settlements into Acadia. To secure New France's claim to present-day Maine, New France established Catholic missions among the 3 largest native villages in the region, one on the Penobscot River, one farther north on the Penobscot River, and one on the St. John River. For their part, in response to King Philip's War, the 5 Indian tribes in the region of Acadia created the Wabanaki Confederacy to form a political and military alliance with New France to stop the New England expansion. On Abbé Petit's advice, Father Louis Pierre Thary settled at Pentago in 1690, near Jean Vincent de Bardi de St. Castin, where he remained 8 years. He acquired great influence over the Abenaki and took part in their expeditions. In 1689 he accompanied St. Castin on the raid that resulted in the destruction of Pemaquid. He left a detailed account of events. In 1692 Thary accompanied a war party against York in what became known as the Candlemas Massacre. Raid on Penobscot. Benjamin Church's third expedition to Acadia during the war was in 1692 when he conducted a retaliatory raid with 450 men against the Penobscot village. 2 years later, Thary worked to thwart the actions of Phipps, who wanted to keep the Abenaki neutral. Thary played an important role in retaining them under French influence. He took part in the attack against Penobscot in New Hampshire, and was present with Robert de Villebon and a party of Abenaki at the capture of Pemaquid by Pierre Le Moyne d'Iberville in 1696. The Bishop of Quebec made him his vicar-general in 1698 and appointed him to be the superior of the missions in Acadia. Madacawando and others from Penobscot fought alongside Turtle Portneuf and St. Castin at the Battle of Fort Loyal. They were also involved in raid on Wells. Finally, they accompanied Ville in the raid on Oyster River in 1694. He died during the war in 1697. Father Rale's War raid on Thomaston. On the 15th of July 1722, Father Lauverget from Penobscot led 500 to 600 natives from Penobscot and Millinocket to lay siege to Fort St. George in Colonel Thomas Westbrook's hometown of Thomaston for 12 days. They burned the sawmill, a large sloop, and sundry houses, and killed many of the cattle. 5 New Englanders were killed and 7 were taken prisoner, while the New Englanders killed 20 Maliseet and Penobscot warriors. Raid on Penobscot. During Father Rale's War, Father Lauverget was established at the mission. On March 9, 1723, Colonel Thomas Westbrook from Thomaston led 230 men to the Penobscot River and traveled approximately 32 miles upstream to the Penobscot village. They found a large Penobscot fort, 70 yards by 50 yards, with 14-foot walls surrounding 23 wigwams. There was also a large chapel. The village was vacant of people, and the soldiers burned it to the ground. Starting in 1775, Condeskeet became the site of treaty negotiations by which the Penobscot people were made to give up almost all their ancestral lands, a process complete by about 1820, when Maine became a state. The tribe was eventually left with only the main village on an island upriver from Bangor called Indian Old Town by the settlers. Eventually a white settlement taking the name Old Town was planted on the riverbank opposite the Penobscot village, which began to be called Indian Island. Quote, "It continues as the base of the federally recognized Penobscot Nation. Tourism. The reservation is home to a small museum as well as Penobscot High Stakes Bingo, which was established in 1973. This was one of the first Native American gambling enterprises operating in the country. Notable residents: Major League Baseball player Louis Francis Chief Sockalexis was born on the reservation and is buried at St. Anne Church Cemetery. Michael Pearson Sipsis, a writer who grew up on the reservation. Geography. According to the United States Census Bureau, the Indian Reservation has a total area of 22.0 square miles. 7.5 square miles of it is land and 14.4 square miles of it is water. Demographics. As of the census of 2000, there were 562 people, 214 households, and 157 families residing in the Indian Reservation. The population density was 72.5 per square miles. There were 263 housing units at an average density of 34.0 per square miles. The racial makeup of the Indian Reservation was 14.59% white, 84.88% Native American, and 0.53% from 2 or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 0.53% of the population. As of the 2009 U.S. Census Bureau estimate, there were 541 people residing in the reservation. There were 214 households, out of which 44.4% had children under the age of 18 living with them. 35.0% were married couples living together. 25.2% had a female householder with no husband present, and 26.6% were non-families. 22.4% of all households were made up of individuals, and 7.0% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.61 and the average family size was 2.97. 2007. In the Indian Reservation, the population was spread out with 33.3% under the age of 18, 6.6% from 18 to 24, 31.3% from 25 to 44, 19.2% from 45 to 64, and 9.6% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 32 years. For every 100 females there were 92.5 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 84.7 males. The median income for a household in the Indian Reservation was $24,653, and the median income for a family was $24,000. Males had a median income of $34,500 versus $23,194 for females. The per capita income for the Indian Reservation was $13,704. About 23.5% of families and 22.7% of the population were below the poverty line, including 28.3% of those under age 18 and 6.1% of those age 65 or over.